Another Talladega race, another controversy. A combo as American as turkey on Thanksgiving. But with the track record of both good racing but also real danger, there is a true debate to be had on the merits of this racing package. Everyone from fans to press to former and current drivers all have thrown their takes out there, and somewhere in the middle is where we go from this point forward. So, once again, we're going to look at the current Superspeedway package and how it may or may not need to change. Now, let's start off with the detractors of this package, as they're the ones who brought the new, or more accurately, revived life to this debate. The first point of concern is the common one, the closing rates. The closing rates at the Superspeedway tracks have been insanely quick over the last couple years. This really has been what's helped the races there have their extreme competitiveness as well. But this also has caused some of the more extreme incidents also. With speeds at and over the 200 mile per hour threshold, on top of large crashes and flips, they have been more and more common as well. And with this, we've seen the scariest crash in the last 20 years with Ryan Newman's crash in the 2020 Daytona 500. This has built the foundation of another huge point of detraction: lack of driver safety. Since Dale Earnhardt's tragic passing in 2001, NASCAR has worked tirelessly on improving the driver's safety in the car. But after over 20 years having passed since his death, many have said that NASCAR has grown complacent in said safety, both in its administrational sect as well as in its young competitors. This can be highlighted by many as the Superspeedway package, encapsulating this. And the last major gripe with this package is the actual amount of wrecks. With the closing speeds and raw speeds combining, there is an intersection of generally incessant crashing in most Superspeedway races. The amount of wrecks can be seen as an embarrassment to NASCAR as a whole. The best drivers on earth, as they say, are being reduced to demolition derby drivers. It can really be a damning assessment. Plus, more wrecks also doesn't help your chances of keeping the drivers safe. Take it like this, for example. For someone like me who lives in the Midwest, I know that for the more thunderstorms we get in the summer, the larger chance there is for a tornado. While one of these is rough generally, it's not as dangerous or deadly as the other. The same applies to this package and the abundance of wrecks. Now, this is only one side. On the other end, there is those who absolutely love this package and this kind of racing. No matter what you think of it, you can't argue that this racing does not contain tons of entertainment. Up to 40 cars being inches apart from one another over 200 miles per hour is not for the faint of heart. And those who are for this package basically say in many respects that those complaining need to just suck it up and enjoy the show. This, after all, has been a unique form of NASCAR racing for about 30 to 35 years now. But when the drivers themselves do say that there's problems, then there should at least be a look given to what they're saying. Now, another pro that those for this package say is that it fits the billing for what NASCAR markets itself as. It's no shock that NASCAR and the TV partners market the sport as if it's a 36 race season of superspeedway racing. Beating, bumping, inches apart, and of course, lots of crashes is what really they tell the fans that they're going to have. This is almost 100% a description of superspeedway racing, especially now. So these races are a great way to draw in a casual fan and turn them into a diehard fan. Just from anecdotal evidence, you can probably find large amounts of people in my comment section, for instance, who have been hooked on a race either at Daytona or Talladega. I can tell you that that's exactly what happened to me and got me into the sport all those years ago. So it really can't be understated how important these races are for the health of the sport. With that as well, the networks have to love this kind of racing. With the larger audience that these events usually draw, networks like Fox and NBC can sell more premium ad space. While that may piss off fans a bit, it does help the sport. That revenue flow can aid in just about every aspect, so putting the best bang for everyone's expensive buck is key. Now, both negative and positive views on this do have tons of water to them, but I think a real solution can be reached by Daytona in August. That can keep both sides at bay at least through the 2021 season before the new car arrives. These tracks aren't going anywhere, but there also should probably be at least some minor change to try and address the problems. Now, many blame the giant-ass spoiler on the back of the car for recent flips and problems. Yet there were flips with other packages in the Gen 6 era that definitely had smaller-ass spoilers. What really is causing many of the problems with this package is the maximum speeds that they put. Many NASCAR fans say that they want to have the sport revert back to the racing of the late 90s and early 2000s. So, with the current form of superspeedway racing, many see that in it. But what many either forget or don't realize about the racing back then is that it was about 10 to 15 miles per hour slower in general than it is today. So maybe a way to keep the racing great and also keep it safer would just be slowing the cars down a bit more. The question may be just how to do it. You could adjust the tapered spacer, or you could adjust the aero side of the package, hence trimming down the giant-ass spoiler or other things. But these changes may not do the intended effect that NASCAR wants. For example, in 2011, in an effect to stop the two-car tandems, NASCAR changed spoiler sizes and restrictor plate sizes, but it didn't change much at all in the subsequent races. Even so, it's something that NASCAR should at least try, as when they slowed them down in 2020, the racing still was really good. But one thing that everyone needs to accept is that racing at Daytona and Talladega will always be inherently dangerous, and it always has been. Cars have been flipping and have had blowovers there since the creation of both tracks. When you have an aerodynamically sensitive machine put in an awkward angle, unforetold problems are going to happen. Now, that's not to say that NASCAR should just throw their hands up and stop trying, but more that I don't envy NASCAR's position. There were blowovers to bring restrictor plates to these tracks. There were blowovers in the 90s and early 2000s Gen 4. The COT years had tons of them, and the Gen 6 is no different. And more than likely, this is only going to continue with the next gen car. So, my solution is we don't have one quick fix. I know that's a cop-out, but it's true. NASCAR should keep trying to make the racing safer while also striving to make it great. And drivers need to take some responsibility to make smarter moves and have more patience in these races compared to what they have now. I know that Joey Logano really has sparked off this debate subject again, but let's not forget, he's caused wrecks with some pretty smooth-brained blocks also. But with that, I've really said my piece. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think should be done, if anything, when it comes to superspeedway racing? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. Until next time, have a good one.